Okay, today we're going to change the oil on a European import. It is a 2011 TDI diesel Sportwagon, Volkswagen. Basically, it is a Jetta wagon. So it has the TDI. It is a diesel. It is a turbo diesel. I know some of you that means nothing, and a lot of you you don't. This is all new to you, and you're watching this video because you haven't ever changed your oil. So I'll quit talking about all those specifics, but I wanted to get that out there. These are the tools that we're going to be using today. It is a T20 Torx, and those are usually used on European cars. It actually is a little tool like that, and you put it onto a ratchet. There are various kinds of ratchets. You might have one in your house. If not, you probably need to buy one so you can do these types of small jobs. This is just a T20. The screws in European cars, they have, instead of having the regular little slot like American domestic cars have, they have a star. That is a Torx. That's Torx. I need to tell you that. So that is a T20 Torx. This is a, I believe it is a 32 millimeter socket. Now this is something that is not common. You would buy this just to do this job every time. You can buy a cheap version of it at Harbor Freight. You can buy that one socket, or possibly at Tractor Supply, somewhere like that. Just buy the one socket. It's a 32 millimeter. Now on your car it very well might be a different size, but these Volkswagen TDIs have a 32 millimeter nut on the top, and that takes the top of the filter off, because the filter is different on a European car. So, and we have the ratchet on that with an extension, because you got to get far down in there to get to it. So it has an extension. We're going to be using a funnel. We're going to be using our oil pan with a spout. And the spout is so that we can take the dirty oil, put it back into our container that the oil came into, and return it back to where we purchased it. Okay, now starting out the TDI, and on most cars nowadays, there's not necessarily screws that hold the cover onto the vehicle. So you have to look and see, but on this particular car, this just pops right off. It just pops off. We'll set that to the side. Now you can get down to where the filter is at to pull the filter out. Now the filter on this vehicle and on most European cars, now the paper, I think domestic has even gone to it. It's just a paper filter. There's a little tiny O-ring at the top. You're going to pop that into the holder and you'll hear it, but we'll get to that when we get to the filter. And it should have one O-ring with it, a new O-ring. Make sure you replace the O-ring. And at that, I think that gets us going. The oil we're going to be using today, this is a Mobil 1 Extended Performance High Mileage 5W30. Now, I wasn't sure about this vehicle because diesels a lot of times require special oil. Some of that oil that people put in at the dealers and stuff, it's very, very expensive. So fortunately, I have the original manuals. So I pulled the manuals out, and it calls for a 5W30 full synthetic. That's all. Just a 5W30 full synthetic. So I lucked out on that. Much cheaper than the specialized oils. But that's what we're going to be using. And we will get set up, get ready, and we'll get started on this job.
Okay, first thing we're going to do, on most cars nowadays, the bottoms of the car is covered by a pan. Now it's kind of a jigsaw puzzle how it needs to come out. They all come out differently, but that's what the T20 Torx driver is for. You take out these small, they're just small little screws, and they hold this one pan out. Now this pan is under the engine, so we know we can't get to the oil drain plug without taking this pan off. So every car is going to be different. These Jettas are all about the same. All of the Volkswagens are all about the same. The pan runs about to where the transmission is. It's about a little over a quarter length of the car. I think there may be another one in the back also, but we need to take this off to do this job. Now, the screws go around the perimeter, and there's nothing to the screws. It's a really easy job. I would suggest that you lay down some type of moving blanket. Depends on whether you have a garage or not, but if you put down a moving blanket, that works really nice. That's what I'm on right now. If you're outside, yeah, I've had to do that before too. I've even had to do it in the rain. So just do the best you can. Put something down to make it easier on yourself. So I'm going to get busy taking these torque screws out. Okay, we got set up underneath the vehicle. I'm going to try to take this oil pan out. This 18mm socket, and we're going to watch the oil go into the pan, and I'm going to check to see if this magnet has anything on it when we take this plug out. So let's give it a shot. I may have to change ratchet length. The longer the length of the ratchet, the more leverage you have. So this is a small stubby ratchet, so I'm hoping I can get enough force on it. Okay, we got it broken. We're going to pull this out. Long as if the plug goes into the pan, that's okay. But I like to try to catch them. All right, here we go. Still a little warm. Remember, you want to run the engine and then let it cool down, not all the way, but you don't want the car hot. You don't want the oil hot, and all these surfaces under here can get extremely hot. So always make sure you let it cool down enough to safely work under the vehicle. Make sure you got the wheels chocked, and we are using ramps. Be careful using ramps. Always know what you're doing, setting those up and putting your vehicle on them. Make sure you have approved ramps. Right now I've been reading about some ramps that are they're collapsing. There's a bad group of ramps that are being sold right now at some tool stores, and these ramps are collapsing on people. So be sure you have good ramps. We're going to let this drip all the way out. And I'm not going to go back on top of the vehicle until I put the plug back. That's just the way I do it. So I'm going to let it drain just a few more seconds. I'm going to put the plug back on it. If you don't get this plug back on your pan and you were to run the engine, leave without pour the oil out, and you didn't know that it's happened. I know people that it's happened to at oil change places. The technician doesn't put the plug back in, and they drove the car out, made it about halfway home, and they had $7,000 worth of damage to their engine. It was a new engine, so it happens. So I'm always very careful. I don't go back to the top of the vehicle till the plug is put back in. vehicle around here. Interfering with our video, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to set our wrench to tighten. We're going to tighten this plug back. Doesn't have to be extremely tight, just snug it up. Make sure there's no leaks. Alright, that's it for down here. We're going to head up top. Okay, we're ready to start taking the filter out, and we have I believe it's a 32 millimeter socket. Remember, yours may be different. You'll need to find the cap on your oil filter, and you'll need to find out what is needed to take it off. Now, this oil filter takes a 32 millimeter. It has a plastic cap. There's a plastic cap. Here it is here, pointing to it with the socket. The socket will go on it. And I have what's called a swivel knuckle on this. Lets it swivel just a little bit. And that's what we're going to take off, is this cap. So you'll need to find out what size yours is and where yours is located. Now, on most Volkswagens, it's in this general vicinity. In newer model Volkswagens, it's in this general vicinity. We're going to take this off, and it has there's a paper filter in it. Remember, it's plastic. It's just plastic. Got a little bit of an angle. I don't know what's... It has an O-ring that goes on it that I'll be showing you. And that is what's keeping it from leaking. And that's what has it giving me a little resistance now. There we go. Okay, so here's the filter cap. Now I think a lot of times the filter will come out with the cap. You do have to kind of wrangle this filter in here. It's not the easiest thing to get out this small hole. Also, when I get it out, I will show you. Whoa, I'm glad we changed this. Wow, this thing is destroyed. Now that is really bad. This only has about, I believe it has 8,000 miles on it. I don't know what happened here. This doesn't look correct. So I'm really glad that we took the time to do this today. That's really, really bad. It's not supposed to look like that. I'll show you what. We'll look at it. Here is a new one. Now it should look like this, only dirty. Why it has collapsed, I don't know. That's concerning to me. I'll need to look into that and find out why it collapsed like that. Now, this piece here, the long piece, it goes down in the filter, and once you put it down, then you push a little extra and it goes over this O-ring. You'll feel a kind of a snap. It'll kind of snap in. And this cap, this is our new O-ring for the top. Now, it's a little bit difficult to get this old one out. I don't know if that's not going to work. I'm going to see if I can just cut this one out. I won't be reusing it anyway.
My hands are so dirty, so slick. I don't think I can get this off. Okay, I got the proper tool. Just a small standard screwdriver that'd fit under the O-ring. And you want to make sure you don't mar up the, you don't want to make any damage to this little fragile plastic piece. There's the old one. And I'm going to take a little bit of oil down at the bottom, and I'm going to coat this with a little bit of the oil. Makes it easier to go on and helps it to seal better. And I'm going to roll that on. There's a little gap, and that's where it goes. There's a gap in the threads. Alright, that's in. Now these filters, okay, so here's the gap. It's at the very top of this plug. There it is. There's the new, that's the new O-ring, and there's the gap. Right there, it's at the top of the threads. We let it go. That's where it goes. And alright. Now, the new filter, we will you're supposed to snap them together before you put it down in the housing. There it is. But the problem is a lot of times you can't get it in there like that. And I don't think, yeah, I may be able to. Let's see. Okay, going right on in. Now, make sure you have the threads lined up correctly. It's just plastic. Should turn real free. Should be really easy to turn it down. Should tighten down very easy. Then you get your socket with your extension, 32-inch socket on this one. We're going to get it lined up, and we're going to snug it down. Should turn real easy, and you'll be able to feel when it's there. That's it. It's tight. It's finished. Always want to clean up your work area. You want to clean your engine up. If you have a fairly clean engine, you want to keep it that way. So I want to get as much of this stuff off as I can. For one thing, when it gets hot again, it's going to stink and smoke, and I want to get as much off of it as I can get. Okay, there you go. That's the filter. Wow, that's unbelievable. Okay, so we have the filter in. Now, after the filter, there's nothing in it. Put it back in the box it came in. I always put it in a plastic Walmart bag or whatever and dispose of it. Now we want to add our oil. Need a funnel. These large jugs of oil are basically one for most cars is one oil change. So this should replace everything that we took out. Now after I'm gonna
put everything but about 1 quart in it. And these jugs have a clear line on the side, and they're marked by, I believe they're marked by half quarts. And you can see the oil inside that clear line. Don't put all the oil in. Take it down to about 1/4 to 1/2 quart. Okay, the oil fill tube has a picture of an oil can on it. And if you can't find that, look it up, Google it, or get your owner's manual out. Find out where the oil goes into the vehicle. Now by knowing all this stuff, having this small set of tools, you can save yourself a lot of money by doing the oil changes yourself. And it's a good way of knowing what's going on with your vehicle. You know what's going on with your vehicle. You're not dependent on somebody else, and you can save a lot of money. Now I'm checking the oil at this point. I want to see if it's showing on the dipstick yet. So far nothing. We're not getting anything on the dipstick yet. We want to make sure we don't overfill this vehicle also. Overfilling a vehicle with oil is as bad as underfilling it. They won't run. You overfill them, they won't run. And you can destroy one by overfilling it. Now, if you put too much oil in a vehicle, you won't have a catastrophic failure like you would if you ran it without oil. But it would still be a big mess. Cost you a lot of money to get it fixed. Okay, we're getting the oil on the stick now. Now, in case you haven't ever checked the oil in your vehicle, you want to find the dipstick on the car. It's usually either a yellow or an orange. It can be a T handle, it can be just a loop. This one is a loop. That's another thing. Either find your manual or look it up on Google. Show you the location of your dipstick and how to check your oil. To check your oil, you're going to pull it out, you're going to clean it off, put it back in, make sure it's all the way in, pull it back out. We want to read and see hash marks. See the hash marks on that end of that stick. Now anywhere in that hash marked area, that's all the area that the oil should be in. So it's right on the money. I need to add the 1/2 quart that I have left, and that will put it exactly where it needs to be. Now remember, save this. We're getting ready to fill it back up with the old oil. Okay, we have to get rid of this used oil. We want to do what's right for the environment. In the old days, you'd pour it along your fence line, kill the weeds out, but we don't want to do that anymore. We want to make sure we return this old oil back to where you purchased it. They're required to take it back. To sell oil, they're required to take it back, or they have to tell you where you can take it back. So, you want to do what's right for the environment, make sure you recycle the oil. And you save your jug, put it back into the jug it came from, and that's why it's good to use a pan that has a spout. Now, you don't know it, but off camera I have help. I have somebody holding that jug because I have had a big mistake before,
and I went to pour this, and the weight of the oil hitting the funnel turned the jug over, and I made a huge mess. So it's best to have somebody help you, because this dirty oil is even worse. So we're gonna get all this in the jug. We're gonna cap the jug. We're gonna clean the jug up good, because that'll be riding in our vehicle going back to the auto parts store. And this pan, I have a place where I can drain this pan. What I do, I set this pan against the back of my shed building, and I have cat litter or oil dry that you can buy at the parts store. It's the same thing as cat litter. It's just clay. Cat litter just has some deodorizers in it. And you can pour out some cat litter, set this so that it will drain. The end will drain into the cat litter, and in a couple of days you can come back. The pan will be completely clean. All the oil will have drained out, and you can scoop up the cat litter, and you won't be harming the environment. And that's all you have to do with the oil. So I'll clean the rest of this up, and we'll be finishing this project up. We're almost done. For the 2011 Jetta Sportwagon. A lot of European vehicles will be about the same with the filter. Any specific things that are with your car, look them up. I would suggest you get this set of torque tools, Torx. Keep them in your vehicle, and when you do work on your vehicle, you have those things available. It's very inexpensive. I think these were $12. I did end up using another Torx, and it was actually the T30. I used the T30 also on the pan, taking the pan out. That's going to do it for this one. Take a quick moment to go over your fluids. Make sure you have all your fluids are topped off. Check your oil one more time. Check the level on your oil, and it's perfect. Put your engine cover back. And that'll do it for this one. Putting out more content now. I have a few more videos that should be available now. I'll be trying to put out a video or two a week. Like, share, and subscribe. That's the way I do it. We'll see you next time.
Wow.